Hey, welcome back. This is part 2 of this video here where I go through how to create this music box in Unreal. So if you haven't checked up on video 1 and haven't done the steps where we installed Unreal Engine 5, created the project, put the animation files, the music file, the texture files, and the picture for the UI and the models, you need to do that because I'm going to be picking up here. So I hope you've done that. Here in the second video, we're gonna modify a bit the files we already put in Unreal, and then we're gonna put it all together. So this might be the biggest step or the biggest learning curve, but take it easy. It's gonna be all easy, slow. Gonna take it. I'm gonna try and explain it the best I can. Gonna go through it. So stick with me. It's gonna be fun. By the end of this, we will have a simple functioning music box. So look forward for that. In this step here, or in the many steps in this video here, we are going to create sound cues. I'm going to explain them further as we go to it. We're going to sound cues. We're going to do a very simple interface, just a single button. We're going to look at sound attenuation, and we're going to look into variables, which is going to be driving the system of our music box. We're going to be making variables to track the song that is playing. We're going to be making variables to do the get record animation, to play record animation, and to remove the record animation. That's going to be controlled by variables. We are going to connect the UI to the key E, just because that's the closest one ever when I'm using WSD. If you know how to connect it to one key, you'll know how to connect it to all. And then we're going to make something happen. We're going to make the music box play when we press the E. So yeah, it's going to be great. So why don't we start with the interface, user interface or UI. So go into, I'll put it here in the UI folder that I have, where we have the pictures from last time, the ERT. We're going to right click and select user interface and a widget blueprint and then user widget. And we're going to name it something sensible. Let's say music box widget. There we go. We see not save, so let's save all just to be extra careful and double click it to open. Here we are. So inside the widget, the first thing you need to do is you need to navigate down to panel and canvas panel and drag one out. Otherwise the UI won't stay consistent with different resolutions. So this helps keep everything in order. So do that, and then let's get a image, a picture, drag it in. There we go. Let's over here details tab, if we can find the size, let's put it to 200 by 200, and there we go. Now under appearance we see this brush, so expand that, and then we get image, and if we browse that now it says none. We should have the E key because we put it in, so just find it, it's a texture. If not, we can always search for it. So we should just click on that, and there we go. We now have the picture of our E key, and let's drag a text underneath, text block, and here on the text we can change from text box to play music. If I could spell it, it'll be even better. Music, that should be it. Click to update. Perfect. Now this is essentially basically all we need to do, but it's always nice to get some sort of feedback when you push a button. So I'm going to show you how to make a system where we darken the picture of the E key when the key E is pressed. So select the image here, and under color and opacity we have the option to bind, and if we put that down, there isn't any binding yet, so let's create one. So click plus create binding, and it automatically go to our binding. And we're also now in the graph mode. Up here in the top right corner you can change from designer to graph. these are all connected. So in graph, let's change set color and opacity to 0. Let's change the name here under name to darken E key. I think that makes a lot more sense. If you can name it whatever you want, just keep track of it. So right now, the code here, you're already doing code, you didn't know. You're reading from left to right, so darken E key will give this return node. So we start by getting some space, duplicating the return node, Control C, Control V, works every time. So now we have 2 return nodes. These return nodes are going to be what determines how our brightness is going to look like. So right click here on return value and set promote to variable, and we do that for both return nodes. And think of a variable here right now as it's just a way to hold numbers, a way to hold values. We'll get to use variables later in different ways. So right now it's just a way to have a set, a fixed set of values. When we're dealing with code, which we are right now, we often need to compile, which is a way of like testing the code. And we can see here that our new values on the default value, please compile the blueprint. We can't do anything yet until we compile. It also shows yellow here. So compile, and we can also save, just because it's always nice. So let's separate these values. New var 0 isn't really telling us what to do, so or what it is going to do. So I'll call it UI E pressed, because these are going to have the values when the user interface E is pressed. If it makes any sense to you to name something else, please go ahead and do that. And the other one is going to be, there you go, this one, variable name UI E normal. There we go. And we can see we need to compile further to give it some values. So UI E pressed is going to be when the key is pressed. So I'm going to expand it down here, UI E pressed, and you can see we have the RGBA values, red, green, blue, and alpha values. That is, we're going to keep it simple. So 0, 0, 0 is going to be dark, and 0 and alpha is going to mean invisible. So we can turn that to 1. Still want to show it. As you can see here, 0, 0, 0 is black, and 1, 1, and 1 is white. So what we want it at like 0.3. So it's going to be a little dark gray when we press it. So this is where we control that. So this, make sure it's for the pressed, compile and save. I do that all the time whenever I do changes. And then we have normal, as you can see. So that would be 1, 1, 1, and 1. Show the picture with normal colors and not invisible. Compile and save. Good job for sticking so far. So we have the function starting, and then we have the pressed result and the normal result. But so far it can't make any decisions. So we're going to do that next. The way a code can make a decision here is by doing a branch. So we drag out here and we type in branch. There we go. And we can see we now get 2 options, true or false. And those options will be determined by a condition. So far that condition is just true. So we can connect false with the normal one. So it's kind of like asking a yes or no question for this condition. And the question we're going to ask is, of course, is the key pressed? Is the E key pressed? So we start the code, get the branch. We need to ask the question, is the E key pressed? If it is pressed, go over here, follow the true line, and darken it based on these values. Yeah. If the key is not pressed, then essentially do nothing. Show the key, show the image as normal. So far so good. So how do we make this question? How do we help the branch to make that decision? We do that with another type of variable. See, you already had 3, didn't even notice. So click on the plus, and it already for me selected Boolean. If it didn't for you, you need it to be. A Boolean is a variable that can only have 2 outcomes, 1 or 0 or 1, or most likely, as it's called here, true or false. So we're going to name our new variables is e pressed. And if I can spell what I'm saying, it would be even better. So is e pressed a Boolean? We need to compile and save. Set compile. There we go. So we can now you can see the default value. And as a default value, e is not pressed. I'm going to keep it off. And now I can drag my Boolean value, or Boolean variable, here in, and then I need to get it, because I'm not looking to change the variable, I'm looking to read it. That's what it means when you like set, do you want to change, or get, do you want to read it? So you press get, I want to read it. And you can even see here how it fits with colors. So I can connect this as the condition. There we go. So now our code is a little bit smart. It can make decision based on this variable, is e pressed. Goes in here, is e pressed? Yes, make it dark. Is e not pressed? Is e pressed? No. Nothing will happen. And that's it. That's what we need for the e key. Good job so far. Remember to compile and save. You can see the little star here, so save. And we go back to the signer. But I think that's it. You are done for the UI. Well done. Now that the user interface is done, at least for now, until we start putting it together, we can close this widget here. And let's navigate over to the music, because we're going to need to do something to those WoW files. So inside the music folder, we have our 5 songs. And we can right click on the first, you can even play it as a preview from here from the menu. So we right click, and there should be one called create cue, a sound cue. And that's because when we get later, sound cues can do more than just a simple WoW file. So let's create a sound cue, and it even names it song01 cue, which I think is quite sensible. So double click and enter that. Actually, I think we jumped a little too far. So save the sound cue and close it. And here in the music folder, right click and then go sound and create sound attenuation. You're gonna need that for all of them. And it's just gonna be called new sound attenuation. I'm not sure I like that, so let's go with music box. You might have figured out the pattern by now. Yeah, I get it now, underline. Can I spell this word? It's quite difficult. We're going to call it attenuation. I think that was probably about it. We're only going to have one. That's why we need to create it now, or at least it helps to create it now. So do that, and let's open it. We need to change some settings around. So attenuation is really just a fancy word for music being lower as you walk away from the source of the music. That's what that means. So the changing we need to change here are from the inner radius from 400 to 200 and fallout distance to 2000. And what these basically means is the inner radius, there's going to be no change in the volumes. So the volume for the music is going to be 100% within this radius, and it's going to be a sphere in this case. You can change it, you can adapt it to your scene, and you can even visually see it in the game, but these are the things that I found. And then fall off distance is the edge. So after 2000, the music won't be played anymore. So music attenuation, inner radius 200, fallout distance 2000, save. That's it. We can go back to our sound cues. So we close this down, and we go back into sound cue 1, and we can see here it has attenuation settings, and since we just made one, it should show up here, music box attenuation. So let's use that. That way we can have the same setting for all 5 songs. So as you can see, there's lots of settings that we can do individually for the songs if one is too loud or we need to change something. The only thing we're going to use in this exercise is under here, visualization mode, where it says restart, play when silent. I'm going to change that because that will make the music keeps playing even when we are outside of range, outside of attenuation settings, when we can't hear it. So the music won't restart. So we will see it when we do the box, that we can play music, we can walk away from it, and then we come back and the music hasn't restarted, it has kept on. So make sure we have that and press save. There we go, that's our first song already dealt with. So we can close this down. That was song 1, go to song 2. No, it's not the one by Blur. Create queue. Song to queue, it's fine. And it's here connected. Make sure this is play with silent, and we use our attenuation setting. There we go. Save. Next song, song 3. Right click, create queue. Song 3 queue is fine. It's connected. Play when silent. Use our attenuation setting. And save. Close. If you don't have a sound, we can also just right click, sound queue. Then it won't inherit the name. So that's a bit of a shortcut. But that's how you can prepare without having a sound. So create, that was number 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not counting as programmers yet. We'll get to that later. 1, 2, 3, 4. Create queue. Attenuation. Play on silent. Save. Last one. Create queue. Play on silent. Music box attenuation settings. Save. There you go. That's all we need to do with the music from now. Good job so far. Okay. So just had a little break, need to catch up. So we just did the sound cue. So we need to change something to our animation. So let's go to those. So content, and we had animations, and we had these 15 animations. We need to turn them into what is called animation montages. Animation montages can hold information that can be added to an animation, but we're not going to look at this, use any of those features for this project. But we are going to use some nodes, some tools that can only work on montages. That's why we changed them. And we should actually be able to change all of them. So if I press the first one and shift click and right click and then create, come on computer, create animation montage, and it should be saved with a name that's pretty, yeah, it takes the same name and just put montage, and that is fine for me. So save all, and that should be it for the music. Let me just check what we need to do now. I think we have pretty much what we need, so we can't delay any further, but it will be fun, no worry. So we're going to put it all together in what is called a blueprint. So let's go to the content folder, and I would like to keep blueprint out here because it's kind of like connects all of the things. So right click, blueprint class, and we're going to choose actor. As you can see, an actor is an object that can be placed or spawned in the world, and that is what we're looking for. And it's going to be called new blueprint. Blueprint? Is it a difficult word? No, it's not. And of course we want to make it something sensible, like music box dash EP for blueprint. That should be it. And we can double click and open it. Here we are. So why don't we start by getting the model, the music box in here. So from the content drawer, content, and we should have model. We have this skeleton mesh music box. We drag it in. There we are. We can turn it around. It's all good. So There we are. That's not too bad. Well done. Now we're going to equip our box with two things that we can use, and the first one is a box. So we can tell it's going to be an invisible box. So we can tell if when the player, or we in this case, are close enough to where we feel like they should be able to use it. So we press the add with the music box here and then search for box. There should be a box collision. There we go. And we can call it just box. That's fine. Now we can see this is not good for, remember, when the player's inside this box, we will allow them to play music. So we can scale up the box. This way to scale up and move it better in position. So there's no need to be under the box, and I don't really think there's gonna be much reason to be behind the box. Let's do it just a little bigger, if I could. So now when the player is inside this box, a lot of place in front and on top, they will be able to, the interface will pop up, they will be able to use the music player. Now the next thing we're gonna add, so here you click on the music box, you can see it's a skeleton mess, so it's a skeleton, it's very cute. We're gonna add a audio component, which is gonna be, it's gonna be what plays the music, and we can then put in music and stop that and play that at different things. So add again, and then search for audio, AU, there you go, audio. And it's just gonna be called audio. I think I'd like to call this music box audio, because we're going to be called on this a lot. But that's it for this part. So well done keeping in there, as always. Compile, no problems. Save, you see the little star, it's not saved. Saved. Good. Now let's put the things together. Okay, deep breath. This is where it's going to be technical, but it's also going to be a lot of fun. Don't worry about it. So let's go into the event graph, which, yeah, is where we can set different events. You can see these red nodes here, they're called events, and so the different events can happen, like we can just play, here, event begin play, event actor begin overlap, which means that some actor has gone into the box that we made. So that's the one we're going to use. And then we have event tick. It's kind of like a timer for games. So we can say for every tick do something. But let's build on the actor event overlap. We're going to do the UI now. So when the players, or when we walk up to the music box, we would like the picture we made earlier of the E key to appear. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take our event, which is not used by now, but when we start using it, it will be. So here, and we're going to look for a cast to BP, or it's called player. Oh, it's because I can't spell. There we go. So cast to player, which one is it? Should be one called player blueprint. Almost wasn't player blueprint. So we need to cast to blueprint first person character. This is a way of checking. We're gonna make this is a way to check if the player has entered the box. So we'll connect other actor as the object, so we can call from the first person character. And we are going to do it so in order to have the music box not taking input from when the player is outside the box. So now all what we're doing now is what will happen once the players enter the box. So far we've just registered that the player's there, and we will then enable input. Should be one called it yes. There we go, enable input. So it's a way of turning on the music box, because you are in the music box blueprints now. So whatever we build in here is going to affect, is going to be driving the music box. We're going to need to get player controller, and I press tab and get this menu here. And since we only have one player, the first player the number is 0, we're going to put that in player controller. So it's going to be when the first player, the only player, us, walks in to the box, enable input. So nice and easy. I hope you're following along. Otherwise, shoot me a comment or something. I'll try and explain it differently. The last thing we need here is we created the input, but nothing's happened. So we're gonna create. Come on. The widget. Remember the widget we made earlier, the interface? So we are creating it, or at least we're creating a widget, because we can now select it. And you should only have the music box widget. You can see that you created here. So select that, compile and save. So just again, the player enters the box, we enable inputs, we're going to use those later. This is kind of separate, but we are creating the widget, we're drawing the picture on the screen. But don't be fooled, even though you have created it, we haven't actually drawn it yet. So we need one more node. It's called create, no, wait, add to, wait. I forgot, so let me look it up. I was close. It's called add to viewport. So that will actually be the one drawing this widget. But look at how the nodes already took music box widget, took your name, so we can see that it's correct. So let's compile. Well, of course, if we don't tell it the widget, so return value into target. Yes, that'll fix this. Compile now, and save. There you go. This is what it's like working. Don't worry, I've done it before. We'll get through it. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope you're finding it useful. You will see it very soon coming together, I hope. So let's test it. So we can close down the music box blueprint, or minimize it, or just close it. And now we can move around here in our scene. I am holding down the right mouse button while using WSD. It's a game engine after all. But we just simply need to drag the blueprint in here, and you can see it with the box. I'm using E to rotate because I wanted to face the way we're spawned, just to make it easy, like this. And I have usually used this settings where it's a new editor window. That way I can view the game in full screen, and I press the screen button, or I use Alt P for play. So here we are. Hey, it's working, moving around. So if we go up to the music box, when we come inside the box, we should see an interface. We do. Time to celebrate. Nothing happens when we push E yet. We haven't done that part, but hey, we are pressing E. When we leave the box, it's still there. That needs to be built as well. But you made it this far. It's working. You can press escape again to come back here, and we go back into the music box. Let's do the next thing. So we are now creating the interface when we go inside the box. So let's remove the interface when we leave the box again. So we need another event. So this was actor begin overlap. So how about event actor? There should be an end overlap somewhere. Event actor end overlap. What happens when the actor leaves? Well, as with overlap, when we begin, we need to identify the actor. So cast to BP first person character. This one here. set that as the object. There we go. And so far we're just going backwards. So let's disable the input, because now the characters is too far away for the music box. So disable input. There it is. And we need to figure out who the player is. So let's get player controller. And it's the same 0 because the first one. Put that in player controller. So far so good. And to get rid of the widget, instead of adding to viewport, I delete from parent. But I can't get it. That's because I need to get here from this widget. I need to get here from the interface. So if I pull it out from here, you can see that I can get delete from, if I can spell it that good, delete from parent, right? Am I missing something? Okay, so it's not delete, it's remove. Remove from parent. Can't get it here. But if I get it up here from this widget, remove from parent. There you go. But I don't want these two. Oh, sorry about that. Hey, come on, let's just move around like normal, right? There, I guess my mouse cursor was a little tight. But I don't want this like removed. I want to keep it like separate. This is what happens when it goes in. This is what happens when we go out. So I can do it like this. You can click Alt to delete a connection and then connect it from here. But this one still needs a target. So I could do it like this, because the target is not the white line. The white line is the mode of operations. It's what's going to happen. This will work, but it doesn't read nice to me. So what I like to do is that I take this value here, which is our widget, our interface, and I right click, and I said promote to variable. We mentioned variables a little earlier, and as you can see now we get the set, which means that we want to write, we want to dictate what the variable is, and the variable is going to be our widget. So now we do that, and then we add it, and I will, instead of calling it new variable, I would call it music box UI. There we go. And now I can, which is why I did this, I can delete this and now get my music box UI variable over here from my variable tab, drag it in, and see get. I don't want to dictate, I want to read it. So it comes off like this, and now I can put it in my target. So it's essentially the same. It's the same thing going on. I could even, take it from here to here. It's the same thing. It's functioned the same. It will happen with the same speed. It's just a way to keep things nice and easy, because now I can clean it up and saying this is when he leaves. I can delete this event tick. I'm not going to need it. I'm not going to need this event begin play. Thank you. So I can mark. So I can tap, and then I can say comment, add comment. But I think if I mark them all, it'll do it automatically, and then I can add a comment. Add comment to selection, yes. So now it's all nice and boxed in here, and I can add the comment. So let's call this create UI. It's only visual. It doesn't have any function. You can drag across this border all you want. It's not a problem. It's only to help gives things a label and keeping things separate. So I mark this, hit tab, and then search for comment, add comment to selection. There we go. And it's going to help you. Let's go with delete UI. It is really going to keep in handy as this project will grow and add functions that will keep things separate. But right now we have created UI, delete UI, compile, save, and Alt P to play. And let's see, here we have a little bit of lag. The computer's ready. Or is it? Let's try that again, computer. Please don't fall asleep on me. So here, come on. So I walk up. Yes, I see the E. Nothing happens. That's expected. We haven't done that. When I walk away, it goes away. And when I walk up, it comes back. Hey, it's working. You made some logic. You made it happen. Very nice. Very good. Keep in there. So before we move forward with the music, let's just talk, or let me try and explain what the plan is, what's actually going to happen. So what the plan is that we're going to have one variable. You've seen how variables are here. So this variable is going to be just a number between 0 to 4. And that is how programmers count to 5, so that is how we need to count to 5. So 0 to 4 is 5 numbers for the 5 records. They're going to be like ID for the records. And then there's going to be 3 other variables that will control the animation connecting to those 5 records. And that's kind of like how we're going to keep track of it. So let's set up those variables now so they're ready, and then we'll make the logic, these operations that need to happen when we press the E key, and we'll play the music, and that'll be it for today. As I said, this is going to be probably the biggest hurdle, but you're going to end up with a music box, so hang in there. So let's start with the first variable. The song ID variable, or I call it song playing. So here under variable, click the plus, need a new one, and its name is new variable. That's not very more good, so let's call it song playing. And this is a boolean. If you remember, we had boolean before, but it was just true or false, 0 or 1. That's not what we're looking for. So from the drop down menu, choose integer. And integer is a number, any number, but it's like a whole number or a complete number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 26, 700, 2001. Those are integers. 2.2, 3.4, and 7.6. Those aren't integers. And I'm using integer because I don't have a 2.4 record. I just have completely whole record. So song playing integer, compile blueprint, of course, save. Song playing 0, I'm fine with that. We're just creating the variables right now. So we have identify, or we have a mean to identify the song. So let's put the record on. So that's going to be another variable we're going to create. And I want to call this one get. Let's go with select. So we keep get from variables cleared. So select record anim as an animation. So this variable is going to have our 5 animations where the music box puts on the record. That means that an integer here is not going to work. Like, we're not looking for a number. You've already seen how much a variable can be a music box or a interface. So it can also be, if we search for it, an animation montage. There we go, anim montage. And the second one here makes the variable container array. We need it to be an array, which means like a selection. So you can see single and multiple. So that's what we're gonna need an animation montage array. We're gonna need a group of animations, like a box with animations in it. And we can't do it create it right now because we need to compile. So compile and save, and now you can see we have 0 arrow elements, and that's not what we want. We want 5 animations where we select a record. So click the plus to add one. Index 0, this is how programmer counts, that's just how it is. So this is the first one, and we can search for, what did we call them? Did we call them get? No, we didn't call them one. Remove, remove, remove. Select, consistency, how nice. So, and this is why we also need montages. As you can see, our variable can't work with animations, but it can work with animation montage. So, music box anim select record 1. That's going to be our element 0. As you can imagine, the order here is going to be important. It's important that it's consistent because it's going to be driven by the music playing variable. So that was the first one. Let's do the second. And it was called select record. Nice search function. Select record 2. Add another one. Select record 3. Spell select correctly. Select record 4. And finally select record 5. That's it for our select record animation variable. Compile and save, just to be safe. So we have identified, or we have ways of identifying the song and playing the select animation. So of course we're going to get another set of variables, that is animation montage array, but it's going to be called play record anim, because this is going to be our play record animations. Animation montage array, very good. Compile, that way I can add them. So those we call play, right? And so we need to keep the order in mind. Record 1 is the first one. Oh, my computer's getting sleepy. That's okay, we're almost done. Oh, maybe not. But we are almost getting to the fun part. Very close. Record 2. Play record 3. Play record 4. And play record 5. There you go. Compile. Save. Now unfortunately there's no prizes of getting what we need now. We of course need to be able to put the record away once it has been played. So remove record anim. There we go. Need to compile so that I can add my animations. There we go. These were called remove, right? So remove record 1. Remove record 2. move record 3. Move record 4. And finally, remove record 5. Compile that, save that, no problem at all. There we go. We now have all we need in the way that we need it in variables where we can access it, or we can make the blueprint access. So let's get an event called key W. I'll use that. There we go. So this is an event for what happens when we press W. That's not what we want, but it's somehow the easiest to search for. You can click the keyboard icon and click E, and that changes it to the E. So just like when we had what happens when someone is inside the box, what happens when someone's outside the box, what happens when someone's pressed E, and keep input is enabled, as you can see. So let's go. And the first thing I want to do is I want to acknowledge for the player that I have seen that they pressed the key. That means that I'm going to use the function, remember from the widget, we made to target the key. So I'm going to take my music box UI, drag it over here. I want to read it, I want to get something from it. Then I want to drag out and see if I can find the set E, what do we call it? E is pressed, right? Yeah. And I want to set it. I want to control this variable. So set is E pressed, that's what we call it. Okay, there we go. So even though this variable, as you can see, is not here in our list, this is not part of the music box blueprint. This is over in the widget. It's separate, but we're connecting them. Here, we connected it by casting from the character, and then we promote it to variable so we can have it in here. Otherwise, I would also need, a connection from this box, from this node, to this node. And this just makes it a lot easier. So when E is released, don't want anything to happen. When E is released, when E is pressed, I want to say, is E pressed? Yes. E is pressed. E is true. Then I want to use a little delay, a delay node. It's kind of like a little pause, and just 1.5 second, half a second. You can adjust this as ever you want. And then I can make a copy of this, because I just want now to turn it off. And of course I need to target it to the music box UI. I can reuse it because it's not that far away, or I could have made another one. It wouldn't really matter. Whatever works for you. So what's going to happen? E is being pressed. We're going to set the variable is E pressed to true. Then we're going to wait half a second, and then we're going to say now it's no longer true, even though it's pressed. So compile and save, and Alt P, and wait for me. My computer's ready. So we walk up. There's E. Hey, it turned dark for half a second. You can do it. There you go. It's reacting to our input. It disappears. It goes back. You can press it. Well done. That is how I have done this. Very good. You made it so far. Now let's play the music. So yeah, keep in mind this is all going to happen as we pressed E. We update the user interface to tell the users, hey, something's going to happen. Or we recognized your input. Now let's play animation. And pick the one here with the music box, because that way you already get it as a target. And target means that the blueprint, the engine needs to know on what model, what skeleton, what rig to play the animation. And now it knows because it has as a target. So what animation should play? Well, select record animation. So here, drag it in, get the get, because I want to read, I don't want to define it. I already defined it over here with the 5 animations. So I want to get my list of select record animations, and from that you can see it's an array, and I only need one, so I'm gonna get a copy. Then I'm gonna put that into animation to play, and it's gonna get the first one that's dictated by this number is number 0. As remember, that's first in programming language, index 0, music box. That's how it's done. Now remember the delay note from earlier, because I want this animation sorry about that. I want this animation to finish before I move on. So of course I'm going to add a delay note, but I don't know how long. What duration do I put in? Like half a second? Do I measure the song? No, from the animation that I got, I will use the note get play length. So that will be the length of my animation, how long it takes to play, and I will put that inside my duration. So that way, if I change the song later or put in a different song, like both if I put a new one in the array or if I choose another one by using this number, the lengths get updated automatically and my delays adapt. So now I have finished the get record animation. What should happen next? Well, we should play another animation. Play animation music box here. So we have the target, and come on, get out of there. And we should of course use the play record animation because we just put it in. So there we go. So get, and we get to use the same system. We have an array of animations. We only need one, so we're gonna get a copy. We're gonna select a copy, and it's gonna be the first one. There's gonna be no randomness, no driven about it. It's always gonna be the first one. There we go. And we want this to loop because this is a short one animation. So it's playing the disc animation, but it should play the music as well. And so that we're going to use the music box audio component that we made. So I can just drag my music box audio here, drag it in. There we go. And from that I'll drag the set sound, if I remember correct. No, set audio. I forgot the name. No, it should be set sound. I was correct. Set sound. Ah, there it is. And it needs the music box target audio. So we'll do that next. But so set sound is kind of like loading, putting a sound into the audio. It's not going to play it. We're going to do that afterwards, of course. But of course, what song should we pick? Well, have we not? Let me just check. Aha, okay, so we're missing a variable. We're missing a list of our songs. We have the animations, we don't have the music. So let's make that one real quick. Another variable is gonna be called song list, I think. Makes the most sense. Song list. And this is not going to be an animation montage because we don't need animation. It's going to be sound cue, if I can find it. So again, this is why we put it. Another reason we put the sound cue in, or put the turn the music, the sound into cues, is because this can work with it. Can't work with just WAV files. So sound cue, and again array. It's a list. It's a selection. We're going to compile. What's going to be in that selection? Well, the first one might be, let's see if there's a song. One, cue, yes. And a song 2, still not the one from Blur, unless you put a 0. In that case, enjoy. Song 3. So of course the order here is important as well. It needs to match with the animation, especially if you, like me, made textures that give away the what song is on the record. Song 5. Compile and save, and then we can use song list get. We want to read it, and we want to get just a copy. Get a copy, just a single one. It's going to be the first one. Put it in new sound. That should do it. Trying to order a little bit so it makes it easy to read. There we go. And once we've set the song we would like to play, and yes, this is in the audio, it's just called play. So there we go. Oh, we need another target, so I can duplicate this one, or I can use it again. Whatever you feel gives you the most readability. So let me just compile and save while we add it. So this is the music playing. So we want to wait, we want to delay again until the music's finished, or you interrupt it with something else. So remember over here how I got play length. Well, since it's now music, I don't have play length, but I do have get duration, pretty much the same. Put it in my delay. Now it adapts to whatever music is in here. And finally, once that has finished, I'm going to play the last animation. So play animation. Thank you. With the music box. What animation should it be? Well, I should put the disc back. So removed record. I want to get. I have an array, but I only want one. So get a copy. Put it in here. Compile and save, and that's it. You made it. So yeah, let's just go through it. So you create the UI, and if we walk away with delete the UI, we press E. First thing we do is we darken the E key. We acknowledge the key press. Then we put the record on. Wait until that finished, then we start playing the record. We select the sound that goes to it, the music. We put it in the audio, and then we play it. We wait until that has finished, and then once the song's finished, we put away the record. So compile, save, and let's have a look. Alt P for play, see how that is. Don't worry about the popping animations. We're gonna address that in the next video. But hey, you made this. You made something animate and play music with a key is pressed in Unreal. Go you, celebrate this one for you. I'm hoping you're enjoying this. We'll add to it in the following, or you can hear me as well. We'll add to it in the following videos, like selecting songs and stuff like that. But so far you made it this far, and this is not nothing. So celebrate, and thank you. I hope you get something from this, and I'll see you next time.